Chapter 2131, Fang Yuan, Who Land? 2131 Fang Yuan, Who Land? With the situation in this state, Fang Dongxi and the rest stopped attacking. Strange. This is really odd. Something does not make any sense. Shi Kong is not a suicidal person, there might be great benefits involved for him to push himself this hard. As for what benefits, the Gu immortals had a similar guess. Shi Kong entered with us and had only gone into that sand heap earlier. Could it be? The Gu immortals suddenly flew down and entered the sand heap again. Shi Kong was really anxious this time as he gave chase. He yelled and cursed but no one cared. The immortals arrived at the center of the sand heap within moments and witnessed a painful scene. They saw Emoli lying on the ground with his legs spread open, he was gnashing his teeth while his body shook from the intense pain. Wang Xiao was standing in front of him and fiercely kicking the part between Emoli's legs, the most vital area of a man. On the other side, Peng Da's soul was also attacking Emoli. What attracted the Gu immortals' attention was the pig-head land spirit. The pig-head land spirit was cheering loudly, "Good, this way of taking a beating really makes people marvel. What moves me even more is this spirit, what kind of spirit to take a beating is this? Exposing your vital area openly and allowing such fierce attacks. And you, Emoli, have persevered without a thought of giving up. What fearless courage. Your dazzling spirit continues to move me. Ah. Then you, ah. Are you moved, ah? Will you recognize me, as your master?" Emoli's tears fell from the pain as he shouted. The pig-head land spirit said with a solemn expression, Soon. You have already surpassed that Shi Kong. Emoli wanted to cry, You said that just before, Stop them. Fang Dongxi shouted first. A mere mortal wants to obtain a blessed land? The Gu immortals made their moves. Shi Kong was also among them, his head was soaked with cold sweat as he rejoiced. The other Gu immortals discovered this secret, if not for that, he might have been defeated by this audacious mortal. Immortal moves shrouded the entire place, they descended like a tsunami. Emoli's group was deathly pale. Mother! Wang Xiao held his head and tried to run. Land spirit, save me! Emoli was lying on the ground, his legs trembling intensely. The pig-head land spirit shook its head and flew away. I cannot save you. To become my master, you need to have the spirit to take a beating, but even more than that, you need to have the strength to take the beatings. But right as Emoli was about to die miserably, there was a loud sound, and all the killer moves were destroyed. Who? Come out. 3 mysterious figures appeared from the corner. Their bodies were shrouded in a layer of profound light, hiding their appearance and gender. They stood silently, but their auras were closely connected and actually suppressed the side of Western Desert's righteous path. Fang Dongxi and the rest became solemn like they were facing a huge enemy. This profound light and this kind of image. You are the legendary Yi clan. Western Desert's Yi clan. There really is this super clan. There existed a hidden super clan in Western Desert, with powerful strength and a long history, seemingly existing since ancient times. But this was only a rumor between Western Desert super forces, and there had never been clear evidence. Since you know of our Yi clan, then retreat. One of the 3 mysterious figures spoke. Their voice was also modified, gender-neutral and hoarse. Fang Dongxi snorted coldly, cowardly people who dare not show themselves, who knows if you are really from Yi clan? You want us to retreat just like this? Aren't you too arrogant? You are even more arrogant than Shi Kong. Shi Kong rubbed his nose and was about to speak when another person said, Look at the price of Shi Kang's arrogance, your outcome will be the same. Shi Kong. A chaotic battle broke out. Yi clan's 3 Gu immortals had tacit cooperation, they had clearly trained together for years. They immediately gained the upper hand. Western Desert righteous path might have been suppressed but they had superiority in their numbers. The pighead land spirit floated near the edge of the battlefield and watched the battle excitedly. Gu immortals prioritized defense to become the blessed land's master. They did not dodge the attacks they could dodge, and even moved towards the attacks. They were also fighting for Li. After all, he was the person who was thought highly of by the land spirit. If they could help him get the ownership, they would win this battle. Finally, after a strange, fierce battle, Li was taken away by Yi clan. Wang Xiao heir was captured by Fang Dong Shi. And the person who became the blessed land's owner was Gu immortal Shi Zong. He had not wasted his efforts after all. Fang Dong Shi returned to Fang clan and reported the outcome of the battle. The matter concerned Fang Yuan. Fang clan's first supreme elder Fang Gong immediately convened the clan's Gu immortals to discuss about it. We should kill Ling Hu Su. The issue now is, how do we explain this to Fang Yuan? We will tell the truth and let Fang Yuan kill Ling Hu Su. But we need to hide our transaction with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan is the #1 demon in the world who cultivates all paths. We are unable to deal with Ling Hu Su because he cultivates theft path and is proficient in escaping. If Fang Yuan were to take action, Ling Hu Su would definitely die an extremely miserable death. That is not appropriate. Fang Dichang shook his head, rejecting this suggestion. His soul was traded to Fang clan by Fang Yuan, and he obtained freedom once again. Right now, he had possessed a rank 5 Gu master's body and was preparing to undergo immortal ascension again. He was part of this discussion right now. Fang Dichang continued to analyze. Do you think that possibility is likely, or is it more probable for Fang Yuan to find trouble with us instead? What is the reason for Fang Yuan's transaction with our clan? It is because our clan is the closest to Green Ghost Desert, and he needs countless soul cores to cultivate his soul. After all, he inherited Shadow Sect's true inheritance. If my Grand Fang clan cannot even handle this properly, we will no doubt lose our value in Fang Yuan's eyes. At that time, what do you think he will do? Fang clan's immortals felt their hearts turning cold from this analysis. Fang Gong nodded. I approve of Fang Dichang's words. Fang Yuan could step on heavenly court. It is very easy for him to deal with Fang clan. We cannot fight him. Besides this, our clan also benefited plenty from transacting with Fang Yuan. The numerous immortal materials in Fang Yuan's hands are the most important transaction gains for our clan. Fang Dong Shi was troubled, but this time soul core quantity cannot meet the requirement. Tomorrow is the day to hand over the goods. What reason will we use to delay it? If Fang Yuan wants to investigate this, he can easily realize the truth. But if we don't lie and say the truth, won't our value fall greatly in Fang Yuan's eyes? Fang Dichang said, we must tell the truth. But since the soul cores are not enough, we will use other things to compensate for them. Won't it be okay as long as Fang Yuan is satisfied? Fang Huasheng was worried. Fang Yuan has a large number of venerable true inheritances. His standards are extremely high. Our Fang clan does have some items that can satisfy Fang Yuan, but every one of these items is a foundation of our Fang clan. We cannot hand over our foundation because of Ling Hu Su, can we? Fang Dichang laughed. You are thinking too deeply. In my opinion, this matter is easy to resolve. Fang Gong asked, what plan do you have? Fang Dichang, didn't we already soul search Wang Xiao? Although he is only immortal, his body is mysterious and his experiences are also quite amazing. We know about Hu Land. This secluded domain of heaven and earth should already be in Wu clan's hands now. We will hand this information to Fang Yuan, it should satisfy him. Is that going to work? Some were doubtful. Fang Dichang shook his head. Don't treat Fang Yuan like us normal people. Spectral Soul and Qing Chou are already dead. Demon immortal Qi Ju is suppressed. Qi Si ancestor was defeated by him. He is now the #1 person in the world. Even if Wu clan is the #1 super force of southern border. They still won't be able to protect Hu Land. Fang Gong nodded. Then, let's do that. If Fang Yuan is not satisfied, we can only incur a greater loss once again. He then sighed, such a pity about Hu Land. If only my clan knew of it, we would definitely conceal it and dig it up secretly. Now, we can only give it to Fang Yuan. Fang Dichang said in a Fang Dichang said in a heavy tone, Fang Yuan should be satisfied. This person is terrifying. The most terrifying thing is not his strength, but his broad-mindedness instead. He doesn't bother about trifling matters in order to accomplish the major goal. His broad-mindedness and shrewdness are unfathomably deep and vast like mountains and seas. What gives me chills is that even though he is the strongest person in the world, he is still willing to trade with us and will not resort to brute force if he can. This kind of person is not someone our Fang clan or Heavenly Court can deal with. I am afraid that only the rumored Venerable Revival can curb such a terrifying demon. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Mini Yellow Heaven. At some corner of Ni clan, a Gu master who had been unconscious for several days woke up dazedly from his bed. An immortal Gu condensed inside my body. The Gu master looked weak and pale, but he could barely hide his joy. From today onwards, am I going to rise up towards the peak of my life? The Gu master was extremely excited. He had rank 4 cultivation and knew of Ni clan's secret. In the whole of Ni clan, there are 3 Gu masters who have passed the difficulty of bloodline condensation and survived, and with me now, there are 4 who possess immortal Gu. Now that I have an immortal Gu, I will be Ni clan's 4th elder even though my cultivation has not reached rank 5. The Gu master's mind was filled with plans for his beautiful future. Little did he know that his condition over the past few days as well as the thoughts going through his mind right now were all seen by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan fell into thoughts. Ni Ren's method is indeed an ingenious human isolation style refinement technique. After the event of the gold fragment current, although Ni clan lost a lot of Gu masters, the surviving Gu masters passed the cruel trial. After they returned to the clan, the phenomenon of bloodline condensation appeared successively. Over 40 people got a fever and fell unconscious, but only 2 woke up successfully and refined immortal Gu inside their body. Right at this time, a message disturbed his thoughts. Who land? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2132, Nurturing Gu Immortals. 2132 Nurturing Gu Immortals. Southern Border, Wu Clan. Over 50 Gu masters were gathered in the hall. First Supreme Elder. Supreme Elder Wu Qiao, Supreme Elder Mountain Moving. Gu masters greeted together with solemn expressions and hardly concealable excitement. Wei Shenjing was among them. He had finally emerged from the cruel competition and obtained the opportunity to become an immortal. Besides him, there was Divine Dr. Xianxia and Wu Shentong. These 2 had been revived through the Dead Sea Life Retrieval Formation. There was also Zhong Yi, the Western Desert Gu Master who had inherited Fire Thunder True Inheritance. These 50 or so people were geniuses of their generation and were Gu Master elites selected by Wu Clan. You may stand. Wu Yong was sitting on the main seat, to his left was Mountain Moving Old Monster, and to his right was Wu Clan's rank 7 Gu Immortal Wu Qiao. The information on Immortal Ascension and the matters to pay attention to regarding Immortal Ascension have already been given to you. Over the following period of time, you should start closed cultivation and come out only when you feel you have the certainty to ascend to Immortal. Our Wu Clan's Gu Immortals will help you resist the Immortal Ascension tribulations with all their strength. You may leave now. Wu Yong raised his hand. The group of around 50 Gu masters retreated. Wu Yong smiled towards Mountain Moving Old Monster. Supreme Elder Mountain Moving, I shall hand the matter of these Gu masters' immortal ascension to you. Mountain Moving Old Monster was not a Gu immortal originating from Wu Clan. His surname was Qin and his name was Jingsheng. He was previously a lone immortal. When Fang Yuan was disguised as Wu Yi Hai, there was the issue of Mount Snail where he reached an agreement with Mountain Moving Old Monster. Mountain Moving Old Monster obtained most of the benefits of Mount Snail, but this immemorial desolate beast still belonged to Wu Clan in name. But in the end, Fang Yuan's identity was exposed and Wu Yong went after him. Mountain Moving Old Monster's situation immediately became awkward. Wu Yong was a formidable character, why would he let go of this opportunity? He immediately exerted pressure on Mountain Moving Old Monster, using both forceful and persuasive measures. He made Mountain Moving Old Monster become Wu Clan's external Supreme Elder. Back to the present, mountain-moving old monster quickly agreed to Wu Yong's command. I am in deep admiration of First Supreme Elder's broad-mindedness. I will stake all my strength to make sure the tribulations cannot harm anyone. Good. Wu Yong laughed. I, Wu Yong, guarantee that the Wu clan I govern is fair with rewards and punishments. I shall take my leave and make preparations. Mountain-moving old monster left. He knew the meaning behind Wu Yong's action. He was an external elder of Wu clan. External elders were usually ostracized. But Wu Yong's move was too revolutionary. He actually supported so many Gu immortal seeds at once. What raised mountain-moving old monster's attention the most was that these 50 or so Gu masters were mostly outsiders. Wu Yong ordered mountain-moving old monster to be in charge of this matter. On one hand, he was worried of Wu clan's Gu immortals being biased towards the clan members if they were put in charge. On the other hand, it was to reassure mountain-moving old monster, using action to tell him, Wu Yong, am different from ordinary leaders. When mountain-moving old monster left, Wu Yong's gaze moved towards Wu Qiao. Wu Qiao had been keeping silent and was feeling uneasy under Wu Yong's gaze. Wu Qiao had been Wu clan's third supreme elder with high authority and status. But he was enticed by Qiao clan and had supported Fang Yuan, who had disguised as Wu Yihai. This action was the same as betraying Wu clan's benefits. Later, Wu Qiao was in charge of guarding Corpse Emperor Yu Ding Tian but lost it to the enemies. This was a great stain to his reputation. After Wu Yong took the position, he suppressed Wu Qiao to the limit. Wu Qiao's situation declined day by day and he was even stripped of his third elder position. Wu Qiao. Wu Yong spoke, what do you think of my decision to support so many Gu immortal seeds? Under Wu Yong's gaze, Wu Qiao's forehead became covered in sweat. He took a deep breath before standing and bowing, saying in a sincere manner, Lord Wu Yong, I think this action has far more benefits in long term. I give my full support to it. Wu Yong laughed, he raised his teacup and took a sip, before asking leisurely, then tell me how you will give full support. Wu Qiao took a deep breath and said what he had already prepared before. Wu Yong did not comment and only nodded as he put down the cup, do it. Wu Qiao was exulted, he quickly requested for leave. He did not leave directly like mountain-moving old monster, instead he stood at the door and bowed deeply towards Wu Yong before leaving slowly. This attitude was extremely respectful. Only Wu Yong remained in the discussion hall. He was expressionless, but was sighing inwardly. This time, he invested all the resources of the clan to support the immortal ascensions of over 50 Gu masters. This move could be considered crazy. His move had caused dissatisfaction in many Wu clan Gu immortals. The main reason was that among these over 50 Gu masters, less than half were Wu clansmen while the rest were outsiders. Many Wu clan supreme elders including Wu Bachong thought, Wu Yong's action was shaking Wu clan's foundation. These short-sighted people. As Wu Yong recalled the recent times, when these people admonished his actions openly or secretly, he could not help but snort coldly. Wu clan's greatest issue was the lack of Gu immortals, there was not enough manpower to guard their territories. Let alone when they were planning to expand in the future. However, Wu clan had few Gu immortal seeds as well. Even when they lowered the standard and revived some Wu clan Gu master elites, the number of Gu immortal candidates was only 18. Although Gu immortals could deal with the tribulations, the crucial point in immortal ascension was the balancing of 3 qi. Outsiders could not help in this, the Gu master had to rely on themselves. 18 Wu clan Gu immortal seeds, according to history, only 1 or 2 among them might succeed in immortal ascension. That would not do. What use was there in gaining 1 or 2 rank 6 Gu immortals for Wu clan? This simply could not satisfy Wu Yong's ambition. Thus, Wu Yong disregarded his subordinates' opposition and recruited outsider Gu masters to be Gu immortal candidates. Moreover, Wu clan treated them fairly and gave them full support. It is not that these people cannot see the situation, but they raised opposition because it threatened their own benefits. They have really disappointed me. Their vision is too narrow. Without the 5 regional walls now, our Wu clan's enemies are not just southern border forces, but the entire 5 regions. And among the 5 regions, the most terrifying enemies are in central continent. Central Continent Sect System. Wu Yong sighed. With his foresight and wisdom, he was already clear of the superiority of the sect system. That was the reason he gave full support to outsider Gu immortal candidates and recruited outsiders to become Wu Clan's external supreme elders. But even with his prestige, he encountered such opposition and resistance. It could be imagined what the situation in other super forces would be like. Wu Yong had excellent political skills. He dealt with this situation by deploying mountain-moving old monster and supporting Wu Qiao. Mountain-moving old monster was an external supreme elder. For the sake of his own future in Wu Clan, he would definitely do his best to support those outsider Gu immortal seeds in their ascension. And Wu Qiao was an astute person. He saw Wu Clan's situation and Wu Yong's plan. To get back onto Wu Clan's political stage, even if he did not approve of Wu Yong's move, he had to grab this opportunity, becoming Wu Yong's dog and standing against those opposing supreme elders. Like this, Wu Clan's internal disorder was quickly resolved by Wu Yong. There will be 5 or 6 among these seeds who will succeed in immortal ascension. I hope one of my Wu clansmen becomes a Chi Path Gu immortal. Hu land can be used then. In the future, if I am lucky enough to refine 8-faced prestige wind, my strength will rise by another level. Adding on Hu land, my Wu clan will be among the top super forces in all 5 regions. Wu Yong's mood turned much better when he thought of Hu land. He thought very highly of Hu land. If not for him cultivating wind path primarily and having accumulated a lot of wind path Dao marks, he might have converted to Chi path for Hu land. Wu Ji did not choose Chi path and persisted on strength path, which had actually disappointed Wu Yong. Hu land's value was extremely high. This could be seen from Demon Immortal Chi Ju. As long as a set of killer moves involving this kind of secluded domain of heaven and earth was created, the Gu immortal would have near pseudo-venerable battle strength. Hu land could be taken as a quasi-rank 9 immortal Gu, while it would be extremely difficult for Wu clan to obtain a rank 9 immortal Gu. Even refining a rank 8 immortal Gu was a huge trial to Wu clan. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture. Be it Mini Blue Heaven Star Collection City, Mini Western Deserts Inkman City, Mini Northern Plains Triple Sacred Mountain, or other areas, Gu immortals were cheering in excitement. Just the previous moment, Fang Yuan had issued the latest contribution board, mission board, and exchange list. The contribution board and mission board were issued long before, but it was the first appearance of the exchange list. It was this exchange list that made all the Gu immortals in the sovereign immortal aperture excited. The exchange list contained a large number of rank 6 and rank 7 immortal Gu, a dazzling lineup of immortal moves, immortal Gu recipes, and countless immortal materials. The Gu immortals in the sovereign immortal aperture only needed to spend their accumulated contribution points to exchange for any cultivation resource on the exchange list. I have never seen such a rich list of immortal materials and such enormous immortal material reserves. Even Langya Land's spirit, who was extremely knowledgeable, was dumbstruck when he saw the exchange list. There are rank 6 to rank 9 immortal killer moves, including common killer moves, battlefield killer moves, the present age Gu formations and Gu houses, and even ancient battle formations. What is this totem killer move? I have never heard of it before. Many Gu immortals exclaimed in shock. The Gu immortals who came from the Variant Human Alliance cared much more about the immortal Gu in the exchange list. Even these immortal Gu can be exchanged. Am I dreaming? How difficult is it to refine immortal Gu, but here, we only need to accumulate a certain amount of contribution points to exchange for an immortal Gu. All of the Gu immortals were moved. They suddenly realized that becoming subordinates of Fang Yuan was a really fortunate thing. Our future is so bright after following Master. This is too good. Looks like Lord Fang Yuan wants to nurture us. I have never seen a force have such wealth. Master's foundation is truly inestimable. The Gu immortals' eyes shined with excitement, their faces reddened, and some even cried in joy. Some quick ones immediately looked at the mission board. Previously, the tasks they completed were mandatory and they did not have much enthusiasm. But it was completely different now. The first task is so strange. Request for Lord Fang Yuan to protect us from tribulations, and we also get such rich contribution points in return. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2133, Shi Zong, Tribulation. 2133 Shi Zong, Tribulation. Fang Yuan was secretly observing his subordinates' reactions. He had issued the exchange list after careful consideration. Previously, Fang Yuan had thought the sovereign immortal aperture's chaotic phenomena would pass with time. But they were instead becoming more severe. Sometimes, some strange situations occurred, which were so serious that Fang Yuan's main body had to deal with them. If he could increase the strength of the sovereign immortal aperture's Gu immortals by a level or two, the chaotic state of the sovereign immortal aperture would be dealt with much more properly. Fang Yuan had no way to completely resolve the issues in the sovereign immortal aperture, so he could only alleviate them. Naturally, regardless of how he strengthened them, these subordinates would not have the ability to take part in the contest within Crazed Demon Cave. Fang Yuan also did not have such extravagant hopes. Nurturing these subordinates required a large amount of resources. Fang Yuan had devoured many of the two heavens' grotto heavens and plundered the countless years of accumulations of these grotto heavens. He naturally did not lack the resources to nurture them. On the basis of cultivation resources, Fang Yuan had already surpassed most of the super forces in the world. Even if Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven had much more accumulation than Fang Yuan, they could not copy his action. Fang Yuan possessed 4-element square regret blood refinement pool. It was extremely easy for him to refine rank 6 and rank 7 immortal Gu. That was why he could domineeringly place all kinds of immortal Gu on the exchange list and let his subordinates exchange for them. If Fang Yuan needed to use some immortal Gu that they exchanged for in the future, he could just throw a compulsory mission at the person. Who would dare to go against Fang Yuan's decree? At that time, Fang Yuan would give even more contribution points in exchange. The subordinate whose immortal Gu was seized might even be quite happy. The heated reactions of his subordinates was within Fang Yuan's expectations. These Gu immortals who were stimulated by the exchange list began to crazily accept the tasks, and took the initiative to go to various areas of the sovereign immortal aperture to work like bees. As for the first task on the mission board, the Gu immortals were discussing if Lord Fang Yuan had made a mistake. But even after a few days, the task content had not changed. The Gu immortals became increasingly covetous. The contribution point reward of this task was sizable. Shi Zong was the person to study the new exchange list for the longest time. Recently, Shi Zong had been distressed over a huge issue. He was the first supreme elder of Northern Plains Rockman tribe. He was rank 7 and was about to face his third grand tribulation. Rank 7 Gu immortals faced an earthly calamity every 10 years, a heavenly tribulation every 50 years, and a grand tribulation every 100 years. Earthly calamities and heavenly tribulations were not big issues to Shi Zong. But a grand tribulation was huge trouble. The previous 2 grand tribulations had almost destroyed Shi Zong's confidence. The third grand tribulation was imminent. Shi Zong was thinking of ways to delay the grand tribulation. But he had turned the whole exchange list inside out and was still unable to find a trace of hope. The exchange list doesn't have any methods to delay calamities and tribulations. Shi Zong frowned. Does Master not have such methods? Obviously not. Shi Zong's gaze locked on the first task in the mission board. Looks like Master is encouraging us to accept this task. Shi Zong was enticed. His Rockman tribe came from Northern Plains' northern icy plain. Fang Yuan had forced them on his ship. But by now, Shi Zong found that this ship had already become a warship with a bright future and unimaginable fortune. Since ancient times, the main criteria of a leader was making use of both benevolence and authority. Fang Yuan had no lack of authority, so when the exchange list appeared, it changed many people's hearts. Shi Zong did not dare to betray Fang Yuan and had seen the benefits of following Fang Yuan. He thought for a long while and decided to take the risk, accepting that task. He accepted the task openly and did not conceal it. And soon, the news regarding him accepting the first task spread throughout the sovereign immortal aperture's Gu immortal world. Shi Zong is a veteran rank 7 Gu immortal. If he can pass the tribulation successfully, he will become a rank 8. Let's see what's going on with this task. Sigh, I also wanted to accept this task. I did not expect Shi Zong to seize the initiative. This is a good opportunity to express loyalty to Master. Not long after Shi Zong accepted the task, he was summoned by Fang Yuan's Time Path clone. The Time Path clone was going to manage Shi Zong's immortal aperture and make preparations for the tribulation. Shi Zong opened his immortal aperture. Fang Yuan's Time Path clone personally took control and stuffed Earth Path immortal materials inside his immortal aperture. Worry soil, green pond rotten soil, diamond soil, Great Lake soil, concealing heaven dust, grand soil, region sand, impermanence rock, smoky warm jade, thousand-year frost jade essence, dark ink stone, marrow-sucking stone, regret water rock, round Kuan stone, hibiscus stalactite, stone heart liquid, 8 parts jade, and so on. The large number of Earth Path immortal material made Shi Zong speechless. After coming to his senses, Shi Zong's heart jumped in fright. Gu immortal calamities and tribulations are the result of heavenly Tao seeking balance. Right now, my Earth Path foundation has increased to such an astonishing amount, my grand tribulation will become even more terrifying. Ordinary Gu immortals want their calamities and tribulations to be as weak as possible, but Master is completely the opposite. It is as if he wants the grand tribulation to become a myriad tribulation. Several days later, the time to undergo tribulation was here. Fang Yuan's main body arrived at an ordinary sea area of Eastern Sea and opened his immortal aperture, letting Shi Zong out. Shi Zong greeted Fang Yuan first before placing his aperture in the outside world. The Blessed Land's door was opened and started absorbing a large amount of the outside world's heaven and earth chi. Fang Yuan stood outside the entrance. He could not go in. He had too many Tao marks. Previously, when he attacked Fire Plane Grotto Heaven, he was unable to go in as well, let alone this tiny rank 7 blessed land. The Grand Tribulation was on time. First was the arrival of Heaven Path Tao marks, then these Heaven Path Tao marks transformed into Tao marks of other paths based on the state of Shi Zong's blessed land. Most of these Tao marks were of Earth Path. The transformed Tao marks used and expended heaven and earth chi to turn into calamities and tribulations. If Fang Yuan used Big Family Chi Gu right now, he could absorb the tribulation chi and weaken the Grand Tribulation. Right now, Fang Yuan was looking forward to the Grand Tribulation becoming even stronger. Soon the Grand Tribulation took shape. Shi Zong's face turned pale. Yellow sky dust cloud. Heavens, it saw my immortal aperture was very prosperous and I had too many Earth Path resources, so this is specially targeting them. Yellow sky dust cloud would gain increasingly powerful suction force along with time and absorb the immortal aperture's Earth Path resources. The more Earth Path resources it absorbed, the stronger it would become, its range would increase and it would become denser with much more powerful suction force. Among all the Grand Tribulations, Yellow Sky Dust Cloud was absolutely among the top few hated Grand Tribulations. Shi Zong tried several killer moves, although they were effective, the effect was very little on such a large yellow sky dust cloud. I can only rely on Master now. Shi Zong's expression was dismal. Right at this time, Shi Zong saw multicolored and dazzling totems fly out of Fang Yuan's body and enter the blessed land, before charging into the yellow sky dust cloud. These totems were of various types and shapes. There existed ferocious tiger and leopard, agile deer and rabbit, lush trees, as well as spinning flying rocks. But no matter which one, they all emitted rank 8 aura. Shi Zong's body and mind shook together. Oh heavens! More than 20 killer moves, all at rank 8 level. Master actually has such terrifying strength. These were all totem killer moves. Ever since Fang Yuan obtained the cultivation method of thousands of basic totems from Zhan Budu, he would cultivate this move whenever he had some free time. Myriad Beast Fusion Color Heaven was the sacred land for cultivating totem killer moves. It was very difficult to cultivate totems outside of this place. Because there was no such food path environment, almost all the food recipes would lose their effect when placed in the outside world. Fang Yuan, however, was different. He had deep food path attainment. He modified these food recipes and turned them into killer moves. With the help of these food path killer moves and countless Gu materials, Fang Yuan was able to cultivate over 20 totems. These totems were all at rank 8 level and were carefully selected by Fang Yuan. Their power naturally would not be low. What was even more amazing was once these totem killer moves were formed, they were extremely easy and convenient to activate. Fang Yuan willed, activating over 20 totems at once. In other words, he activated over 20 rank 8 killer moves in an instant. It was because he possessed the sovereign immortal body that he could fearlessly cultivate totems of so many paths. If it were other Gu immortals, they would never be able to accomplish this. Shi Zong watched with a stupefied expression. Because at that moment, the extremely thick yellow sky dust cloud that covered the sky was shredded by these totems. Too vicious, too terrifying. Shi Zong's thoughts fluctuated intensely. But although the Grand Tribulation was destroyed violently, it did not stop. Instead it was trying hard to condense again. However, the moment a trace of yellow sky dust cloud condensed, it was instantly torn into pieces by the totems. Heavens did not give up, but the totems were even fiercer. Inexplicably, Shi Zong suddenly felt that the Grand Tribulation was somewhat pitiful. Immortal killer move, heaven human sensation. Immortal killer move, human executing heaven's work. Immortal killer move, unrestrained heavenly mark. Fang Yuan made his move from outside the entrance, refining all the heaven path Dao marks from the Grand Tribulation. But the unrestrained heavenly marks fell on Shi Zong's blessed land. But it was not a problem. Fang Yuan took out an immortal Gu house. It was the repaired Thieves' Den. Thieves' Den's killer move, Steal Dao. The Theft Path killer move's working principle was to use Theft Path immortal materials as the catalyst. The Theft Path Dao marks in the immortal materials would be consumed instantly and the Dao marks in the outside world would be stolen. The stolen Dao marks must be attached to these Theft Path immortal materials. So, if the stolen Dao marks were disorderly, the immortal materials would have no value, like those immortal materials found everywhere in Crazed Demon Cave. In short, Thieves' Den had the ability to steal the outside world's Dao marks but did not have a method to use them. Moreover, Thieves' Den was already a peak-level creation and could not be modified. It had no room or potential for improvement. These stolen unrestrained heavenly marks formed a Heaven Path immortal material. Fang Yuan took this Heaven Path immortal material and activated a Food Path killer move, Devour Heaven and Earth. This killer move was Fang Yuan's gain from his recent cultivation. Fang Yuan's Food Path attainment level was Grandmaster. He had countless Food Path killer moves and deep Wisdom Path attainment. It was not difficult for him to create a killer move to devour Heaven Path immortal materials. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2134, Fang Yuan, just you wait. 2134 Fang Yuan, just you wait. After consuming this Heaven Path immortal material, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture gained 9 more Heaven Path Dao marks. The Grand Tribulation that sent Shi Zong into despair, when turned into Heaven Path Dao marks, merely amounted to 9. Moreover, this Grand Tribulation's strength was much higher than normal. A normal Grand Tribulation would give less than 9 Heaven Path Dao marks when transformed. Probably around 7. Fang Yuan estimated. This could not compare to the gains from annexing the 2 heavens grotto heavens. Each of the 2 heavens grotto heavens gave Fang Yuan several thousand Heaven Path Dao marks. Fang Yuan devoured grotto heavens one after the other. His sovereign immortal aperture's development had already reached 80%. At present, his Heaven Path Dao marks numbered over 200,000. Fang Yuan wanted to become venerable through Refinement Path, so he prioritized annexing Refinement Path Grotto Heavens, which increased his Refinement Path Dao marks to over 6 million. Currently, the Sovereign Immortal Aperture cannot annex any more Grotto Heavens. So I can only use this method to gain Heaven Path Dao marks. Although the increase each time is small, Gu Immortals undergoing tribulations is a process that will never stop. Little droplets of water make a mighty ocean. I can accumulate a substantial amount with this method. In the long run, this path of helping Gu immortals undergo tribulation was quite bright. The two heavens grotto heavens accumulated for 1,000,000 or so years to have such foundations. But if Fang Yuan annexed one, there would be one less. There was, however, an unending stream of Gu immortals. Shi Zong's tribulation succeeded and he advanced to rank 8. When he returned to the sovereign immortal aperture, he immediately received the congratulations of many people and was asked about the exact details. Shi Zong was already prepared. He had used Gu worms to record the complete video of his tribulation. When this video was spread, it brought a strong impact to the sovereign immortal aperture's Gu immortal world. Master is so strong. He used over 20 rank 8 killer moves in an instant. Is he still human? These are totem killer moves. They look quite convenient. From the start, the Gu immortals were attracted by the totem killer moves. When Thieves' Den appeared, they exclaimed in shock again. When the video reached the end and the yellow sky dust cloud was completely destroyed by Fang Yuan, the Gu immortals sighed, deeply moved. Master's methods are unimaginable. He can really destroy calamities and tribulations beforehand. In history, these calamities and tribulations will calm down only after they have vented everything. But Lord Fang Yuan has unfathomable powers. He can get rid of calamities and tribulations ahead of time. It can be inferred that this task is a huge fortune. Not only can we increase our cultivation level, we can also get a sizable amount of contribution points. Didn't you hear what Shi Zong said? Although he passed the tribulation and became a rank 8 Gu immortal, he did not gain any new Dao marks. Ah! There was such a thing. No wonder this task compensated us with contribution points. Shi Zong did not hide this. He was somewhat hesitant at first, but after the tribulation, Fang Yuan personally ordered him to publicize the truth. No gain in Dao marks. This news was like a bucket of cold water that poured on these excited Gu immortals. The Gu immortals began to calm down. This result needed to be properly considered. No gain of Dao marks was a huge loss to Gu immortals. After all, undergoing tribulation was the main way of gaining Dao marks. Over the next few days, there was no movement. But when Shi Zong used these contribution points to exchange for 2 rank 7 Earth Path Immortal Gu and 3 Earth Path Killer moves, another person accepted the task of undergoing tribulation. After that, more and more Gu immortals began to imitate this, and it soon formed a wave in the sovereign immortal aperture's Gu immortal world. These Gu immortals were shrewd. They had calculated the gains and losses. Although they would lose a batch of Dao marks, the value of the gained contribution points was far higher than the losses. The Gu immortals' battle strength in immortal aperture's environment would indeed weaken from the loss of these Dao marks, but Dao marks was only one of the factors. There were many factors which determined a Gu immortal's battle strength. For instance, immortal Gu was a main factor. Immortal killer moves as well were much more important than some thousands of Dao marks. The immortal aperture's environment would be influenced, but the Gu immortals could exchange for all kinds of immortal materials to create even more resource points to fill this gap. What made the Gu immortals choose this path was that there was a special entry in the exchange list that allowed the Gu immortals to supply the immortal materials and expend some contribution points, to ask for Fang Yuan's clone to use food path killer moves to increase their corresponding Dao marks. These various reasons created an unending supply of Gu immortals who underwent tribulation. Fang Yuan's heaven path Dao marks continued to increase. Southern border. Xianxia was flying through the clouds. He was communicating with his friend. You don't know that all the Gu immortals are accepting the assisted tribulation task. Some Gu immortals whose tribulations are still far away will choose an option in the exchange list. It requests Master's time path clone to accelerate their immortal aperture's time flow. They are using every means possible to accept this task. Xianxia read up to here before replying with the information path immortal Gu. It is because the contribution points for this task are sizable. Moreover, whoever obtains the contribution points first will be able to move a step ahead and do more missions, entering a beneficial feedback loop. Look at that Shi Zong, he has been thriving recently. His strength has surged, he can do and take on more difficult tasks, obtaining even more contribution points much faster. Unfortunately, I received a mandatory task now and have to go on a diplomatic mission to Wu clan. Otherwise, I would have been the first to accept this task. His friend replied soon, you need to be careful, you are going to Wu clan's headquarters to demand Hu land. That is a secluded domain of heaven and earth, and Wu Yong is the Southern Alliance's leader. Ko Xianxia, however, was confident, I am quite hopeful for this trip. Even if it fails, Wu Yong won't do anything to me. You have not personally realized and witnessed Master's power and influence. Alright, I have arrived, I will contact you later. Ko Xianxia slowly flew down. Below him was Wui Mountain. Wu clan's headquarters was located here. Seeing Ko Xianxia, 2 Gu immortals immediately flew up from Wui Mountain. At the front was Wu clan's second supreme elder Wu Bachong. Ko Xianxia had already notified them before coming here. Wu clan's earnestness could be seen, they had sent Wu Bachong to welcome him. Envoy, please come in. Wu Bachong led Ko Xianxia to Wu clan's headquarters. You came from afar and must be tired, how about resting for a while? Wu Bachong was polite. Ko Xianxia shook his hand, let's get down to business first. Alright. Please wait a while, our first supreme elder is handling some clan affairs. Ko Xianxia nodded and waited patiently. He could understand that the leader of the great Wu clan could not be available so casually. Whether he was really busy or not, they had to put up this show. After 5 minutes, Wu Bachong came again and led Ko Xianxia towards the guest hall. Ko Xianxia saw Wu Yong there. Ko Xianxia did not speak nonsense and said directly, Lord Wu Yong, I come with master sincerity to have another transaction with your noble clan. Wu Yong and Wu Bachong looked at each other, they had profited a lot in the previous transaction. Wu Yong asked with a smile, I wonder what transaction it is. Ko Xianxia smiled, Master is willing to pay a price to buy the Hu land in your possession. Instantly, Wu Yong's pupils shrank and killing intent surged in his heart. What? Wu Bachong could not sit still, he stood, what Hu land? How could my Wu clan have this secluded domain of heaven and earth? Fang Yuan is definitely mistaken. Ko Xianxia smiled and did not refute. Wu Yong's expression was dark as he interrupted Wu Bachong, alright, Bachong. Wu Bachong immediately stopped denying it, but there was indignance and anger on his face. Veins popped up on his clenched fists as he stared rigidly at Ko Xianxia. If gazes could kill, at this moment, Wu Bachong would have already killed Ko Xianxia 100 times with his gaze. Ko Xianxia only looked at Wu Yong, turning a deaf ear to Wu Bachong. He bowed, Lord Wu Yong, what is your reply? Wu Yong suddenly showed a smile, since Fang Yuan wants to trade, of course we can. I believe he will definitely pay a satisfying price. Ko Xianxia could not help but feel a chill when he saw Wu Yong's attitude. Wu Yong was really terrifying, in such a short period of time, he accepted this fact and made the most sensible choice. Ko Xianxia took a deep breath and said the price, Master is aware that Lord Wu Yong desires rank 8 immortal Gu, 8-faced prestige wind. Master is willing to personally refine this rank 8 immortal Gu. What? Wu Bachong's expression changed again as he bellowed furiously, Hu land can be seen as a quasi-rank 9 immortal Gu, Fang Yuan is not taking out even one rank 8 immortal Gu and wants to exchange with such conditions. You are too insincere. Wu Yong said through clenched teeth, this is indeed somewhat too overboard. Ko Xianxia smiled, Wu clan excels in wind path, your only chi path foundation is in Xianxia true inheritance. Although Hu land is a secluded domain of heaven and earth, it doesn't have much value for Wu clan. Wu Bachong immediately refuted, you can't say that, any path's attainment can be developed. Although my Wu clan excels in wind path, could it be that we cannot excel in chi path in the future? With Hu land, I would rather change to chi path and replace my vital Gu. With such huge prospects, which super force would be willing to give it up? Ko Xianxia glanced at Wu Bachong, second supreme elder, you are spot on, quite insightful. It is indeed correct, with Hu land, the prospect of chi path is highly favorable. But as he said this, Ko Xianxia intentionally paused before saying deeply, the prerequisite is, you need to possess Hu land. You! Wu Bachang's killing intent erupted and he looked ready to attack. Ko Xian Hong's hidden meaning was that Wu clan could not keep Hu land. Since they could not keep Hu land, it was useless to mention any Qi path prospects. Ko Xian Hong looked towards Wu Yong and bowed again, saying respectfully, Lord Wu Yong, I will be frank. If your noble clan is not satisfied with this price, we are willing to refine 3 rank 8 immortal Gu for your clan. He then continued with a bitter smile, this is my side's bottom line and there won't be any concession. Lord Wu Yong, please understand. I am only a messenger, I cannot make decisions. Wu Yong was silent for a while before smiling, you are an excellent messenger. I agree to your conditions. Wu Bachong, bring Ko Xian Hong to take Hu land and send the rank 7 Fan Wind Gu as well. First Supreme Elder. Wu Bachong was indignant. Go. Wu Yong was solemn. Sigh. Wu Bachong heaved a deep sigh as he looked at Ko Xian Hong with hatred. Follow me. Wu Bachong quickly moved past Ko Xian Hong and walked out of the hall. Wu Yong sat on his seat without moving. The guest hall had bright lighting, but Wu Yong's face was dark and heavy. Losing Hu land had a huge impact on him. How did Fang Yuan know about Hu land? Did he capture Kong Ri Tian? Wu Yong had a lot of doubts but he did not want to investigate it. Since the matter had already reached this stage, there was no meaning in talking about this. After a long while, Wu Bachong returned to report, Ko Xian Hong has left. Lord, should we send some people in disguise and ambush him? Wu Yong shook his head, with Fang Yuan's wisdom, how could he not have expected such a loophole? Don't do unnecessary things. Wu Bachong said through clenched teeth, damn it. Our Grand Wu clan cannot protect Hu land. Wu Yong said with a heavy voice, we need to remember this. In Wu clan's headquarters, we were forced to sell the secluded domain of heaven and earth. This is my disgrace, and also Wu clan's disgrace. In the future, if there is a chance, I will clear this humiliation and pay it back 1,000-fold. Fang Yuan, just you wait. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2135, Liver Life Formation. 2135 Liver Life Formation. Fang Yuan was holding Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu in his hand. Under the continuous supply of rank 8 white lychee immortal essence, Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu let out a light, crystal-like radiance. This immortal Gu seemed like a flea made of crystal, it was as large as a fist and was curled up like a ball. Suddenly, the crystal radiance from Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu burst, turning into countless broken crystal lights that shone dazzlingly. Success! Fang Yuan was shocked, at that moment just now, he had actually refined this rank 7 Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu. The curled-up crystal flea stretched its body and meekly lay on Fang Yuan's palm. I am probably the first person in history to completely refine Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu. At this moment, Fang Yuan had created history. But, within an instant, his excited emotions calmed down. He already had many unprecedented achievements. In this recent period of time, I have repeatedly helped my subordinates undergo tribulations. Although the heaven path Dao marks gained each time are small in quantity, the numbers accumulate eventually. Adding these heaven path Dao marks, I am finally able to refine Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu completely, breaking the previous limit. My guess was right. The fact was proved in front of him, as long as the unrestrained heavenly marks reached a certain number, Heaven Path Immortal Gu could be refined. In the long river of history, there were countless Gu cultivators with geniuses as numerous as stars in the sky, and the 10 venerables like 10 large suns. But none of them truly cultivated Heaven Path. Limitless Demon Venerable and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable might have grasped the killer move Unrestrained Heavenly Mark, but from what Fang Yuan knew, they had not delved deeply into Heaven Path. The former cultivated Rule Path and the latter cultivated Earth Path. Maybe Limitless Demon Venerable researched Unrestrained Heavenly Mark to cultivate Heaven Path, but he had already become a Rule Path Demon Venerable at that time and could not turn back anymore. From this, the advantage of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture could be seen again. Cultivate every path. A brand new unknown path emerged before Fang Yuan. Heaven Path. Unrestrained heavenly mark was the key to starting heaven path cultivation. This path had huge prospects and terrifying advantages, even mortals could understand a thing or two. Heaven path comprises everything and balances everything. All living beings, be they immortals or mortals, powerful or weak, are included in heaven path. All kinds of immortal Gu, secluded domains of heaven and earth, are also under the restrictions of heaven path. Heaven path controls calamities and tribulations, it controls lifespan Gu. Venerables were powerful for an era, but when compared to heaven path, they are like a burning torch. If I walk this path, Fang Yuan could not help but daydream. Apart from anything else, just lifespan Gu and fate Gu, these two factors made him feel a trace of excitement. Every venerable in history was troubled by lifespan Gu, and fate Gu had never been directly controlled by heavenly court. Even star constellation immortal venerable did not have any solution, she could only become one with the Tao to interfere with heaven's will and distort the power of fate Gu. Among all the paths, the starting threshold of heaven path is the highest. One must grasp the killer move unrestrained heavenly mark first. I have only stepped on the road of heaven path, I still need to walk a long distance before I can touch the deeper profundities like lifespan Gu and fate Gu. The battle of Crazed Demon Cave is imminent, I won't be able to accomplish this before the battle. Although he had officially stepped on the cultivation path of heaven path and its prospects were bright and huge, Fang Yuan did not intend to fully delve into it. The situation did not allow him to do so. At most, I can invest once more in heaven's envy immortal Gu. Cooking luck pot brought enormous convenience to Fang Yuan, letting him know that heaven's envy immortal Gu might be the key in the battle of Crazed Demon Cave. Heaven path's cultivation road was going to be long, and Fang Yuan had just taken the initial step. But heaven's envy immortal Gu could be developed further. I have completely refined heaven's envy immortal Gu, but it is only at rank 7. If I create its corresponding killer moves, it might be quite impressive at rank 8 level. However, in my battle with venerables, rank 7 will not be enough. I need to raise heaven's envy immortal Gu to rank 8. Fang Yuan possessed 4-element square regret blood refinement pool, but this was slightly troublesome. Fang Yuan had a batch of heaven path immortal materials. It might not be enough if you were to try to refine many heaven path immortal Gu, but it was enough to use on just heaven's envy immortal Gu. However, Fang Yuan's heaven path attainment was ordinary, he was not even at master level. Although his refinement path was as high as quasi-supreme, it would be quite difficult to research heaven's envy immortal Gu's rank 8 recipe. It was not that there was no chance of success, but it would take too much time and energy. In his initial estimation, it was going to require 2 to 3 years of deductions at the very least. This was undoubtedly not feasible for Fang Yuan. Looks like I need to copy Wu Yong and raise some Gu immortal seeds, before helping them undergo the ascension tribulation. Fang Yuan quickly found a way. Fang Yuan did not care about the minimal gains in heaven path Tao marks from immortal ascension of rank 5 Gu masters. But when Gu masters undergo immortal ascension, they would have a one-time opportunity to experience natural inspiration. With this opportunity, the Gu master questioned heaven and earth, and almost all their questions would be answered. Since heaven and earth could produce heaven's envy immortal Gu naturally, it definitely had heaven's envy immortal Gu's recipe. Fang Yuan did not demand much, he only needed a correct version of the immortal Gu recipe of heaven's envy Gu, he could rely on his refinement path attainment to modify it to suit himself. Moreover, Fang Yuan could also ask for some insights when asking heaven and earth. For instance, on the basis of certain kinds of heaven path immortal materials and the current situation, which heaven's envy immortal Gu recipe is the easiest to refine. As he thought of this, he put a new task on the mission board and listed it at number 1. Search for loyal and devoted Gu immortal seeds who are suitable to undergo immortal ascension. Almost at the next instant, all the Gu immortals in the sovereign immortal aperture knew of this task. Ever since the establishment of the exchange list, these Gu immortals had gone crazy. Many of them had not even slept for months, using Gu worms to forcibly maintain their conditions, to complete tasks and earn contribution points. Fang Yuan offered them the most suitable environment, reducing the difficulty of these Gu immortals' cultivation to the minimum. Almost every day, they could feel their strength increasing. Even if this increase was only a little progress every day would accumulate to a terrifying amount after several days. It was this euphoric feeling of experiencing the increase in their cultivation and strength that made these Gu immortals unable to stop. What gave Fang Yuan a pleasant surprise was that one of the human Gu immortals developed an incomplete transformation path immortal Gu recipe because of this, hard liver Gu. This human Gu immortal primarily cultivated transformation path. He was solid rock warrior, who came from beast calamity grotto heaven. Hard liver Gu strengthened the Gu immortals' liver, giving them lasting and vigorous energy which then allowed them to complete all kinds of laborious tasks without needing to rest. But if it was used excessively, the liver would harden to the limit and trigger a terrifying explosion, inflicting heavy injuries and even death. After Fang Yuan got familiar with the Gu, he modified and completed it, and even created rank 6 to rank 8 Gu recipes. After using 4 elements square regret blood refinement pool to refine it, rank 8 hard liver immortal Gu was used as the core of a Gu formation. Fang Yuan named this Gu formation as Liver Life Formation. 1. It operated all year round and collected a fee for every use. If the Gu immortals were interested, they could hand over some contribution points to enter. After they come out, they will be full of energy and motivation. Did you liver today? How much longer can you liver for? I feel like my liver is about to explode. Such conversations had already become a common daily topic between the Gu immortals. So, when Fang Yuan put up this task, the Gu immortals were like red-eyed sharks that had smelled blood. Great task. It was published by Master himself. The reward is extremely abundant. I have not slept in 3 months. I want to rest a little. What rest? Go and liver. The great era is in front of us, we must grasp this excellent cultivation opportunity. The Gu immortals moved out towards all kinds of places to gather Gu immortal seeds. In just a short while, this task was completely taken. The Gu immortals who could not take it were extremely vexed. Some shouted regretfully, "Oh, this task was quite excellent, but I missed it." Every task on the mission board had a limited quota to prevent Gu immortals from taking just the tasks with the highest rewards, which would result in unreasonable and wasteful distribution of manpower. Fang Yuan handed the task of gathering Gu immortal seeds to his subordinates. He estimated there would be quite a lot of Gu immortal seeds. It was going to surpass super forces like Wu clan. It was because Fang Yuan had annexed many forces like Xianxia sect and the 2 heavens grotto heavens, which had extremely deep foundations and long history. They definitely did not lack Gu immortal seeds. Using the little spare time he had, Fang Yuan personally went to strengthen Ni clan. He quietly set up a year essence subpool in Ni clan's territory, forming a time path zone. Ni clan's time would pass much faster, which would increase the rate of immortal Gu production. It would become much more convenient for Fang Yuan to comprehend Gu refinement profundities of human isolation style. The sovereign immortal aperture has a huge number of variant humans, but not many humans. Most of the humans are from beast calamity grotto heaven, but it can be foreseen that in the future, many yellow heavens Ni clan will probably become the top human force. Fang Yuan thought to himself. He had just finished setting up the time path zone when Xianxia's message arrived. The latter's diplomatic mission to Wu clan was successful and had obtained Hu land. Immortal killer move, heaven and earth travel. At the next moment, Fang Yuan moved from eastern sea to southern border, appearing in front of Xianxia. After putting Xinhong in the sovereign immortal aperture, Fang Yuan returned to eastern sea. He secretly arrived in a nameless sea area and toyed around with Hu land as he waited for Qi Sea ancestor. For you. Fang Yuan handed Hu land to Qi Sea ancestor. The Qi Sea clone quickly received it and said excitedly, good, I have a premonition. With Hu land, my combat system will be completed. I will wait in anticipation. Fang Yuan's main body left shortly after. He was also pondering about his combat system and had made much progress, but was still far away from completing it. 1. In Chinese medicine, the liver gets damaged/heaty if one does not sleep properly at night. In this case, livering/liver torture is a common Chinese internet term for staying up all night to game etc. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2136, Fang Yuan, S. Secluded Domains of Heaven and Earth. 2136 Fang Yuan, S. Secluded Domains of Heaven and Earth. Immortal Killer Move, Landscape as before. Fang Yuan activated the killer move. The previous landscape as before Immortal Gu was only at rank 6. But 2 months ago, Fang Yuan had successfully raised it to rank 8. Rank 8 was the limit of landscape as before Immortal Gu. The limit of most Immortal Gu was at rank 8. After advancing to rank 8, they would have arrived at their peak and could not be advanced anymore. Gu were the essence of heaven and earth, fragments of the great Tao. These fragments had their respective limits. Those with higher limits could accumulate slowly and reach rank 9, while those with lower limits might even be forced to stay at rank 6. There were many Immortal Gu, although they were unique, they covered almost all aspects imaginable. For instance, Fang Yuan used the killer move Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague, which gave birth to 2 Immortal Gu, Red Copper Immortal Ant Gu and White Noodle Immortal Ant Gu. If there was a slight change, there might be another kind of Immortal Gu. For instance, Dark Gold Immortal Ant, Black Noodle Immortal Ant, and so on. Among all the Immortal Gu, only a small portion could truly advance to rank 9. Rank 8 landscape as before Immortal Gu was still a time path Immortal Gu. But the killer move Fang Yuan was using right now was a compound killer move. It contained profundities of not only time path, but also earth path, water path, rule path, soul path, and other paths. Under the effect of this compound killer move, Reverse Flow River let out soft gushing sounds as it started expanding at a rapid pace. After Fang Yuan's nurturing over this period of time, the compound killer move that was used dozens of times showed great effects. Reverse Flow River, which previously only had a little trace left of it, had become a long narrow river. Fang Yuan had all along been trying to restore Reverse Flow River, and he finally got a good result now. He had previously thought of using Orderly Well. This killer move was a rank 9 killer move and came from Shadow Sect's true inheritance. This move used City Well as the core. It could modify secluded domains of heaven and earth, removing the conflict between Tao marks, which made it convenient to restore them. Dang Hun Mountain, Luo Pa Valley, and Minuscule Mountain had experienced this move. But Fang Yuan had never been able to grasp this killer move. Because he lacked its crucial core Immortal Gu was unique, that core Immortal Gu was already in someone else's possession. Fang Yuan had thought of modifying this killer move but it was extremely difficult. This was a rank 9 rule path killer move, it had already reached a peak level where it had no room for improvement. At least, Fang Yuan was unable to see any. His rule path attainment level was at Great Grandmaster, and not Quasi-Supreme. He was still some distance away from seeing through this kind of rank 9 killer move. Reverse Flow River is recovering faster right now, but at the later stage of its recovery, Landscape as Before's compound killer move will experience a fall in effectiveness continually, until it becomes negligible. Landscape as Before's compound killer move was at rank 8 level, while the complete Reverse Flow River was a secluded domain of heaven and earth, which was equivalent to rank 9 in terms of quantity of Tao marks. Because of the huge amount of Tao marks, they could sometimes be used as quasi-rank 9 Immortal Gu. Naturally, this depended on the Gu cultivator's ability. Conceptualizing killer moves with the secluded domain of heaven and earth as the core was only the start. The crucial point was how exceptional the created killer moves were, and if they could fully use the secluded domain of heaven and earth or not. For instance, Fang Yuan's Reverse Flow Protection Seal made use of Reverse Flow River only at the intermediate level. His Luo Pa Seal was only at the elementary level of secluded domain usage. Orderly Well killer move was different, it made use of City Well to the highest degree, and was at the advanced level. There was no killer move that completely used secluded domains of heaven and earth. Secluded domains of heaven and earth were not Immortal Gu, after all. Immortal Gu was alive and could be used fully as long as immortal essence was transferred into them. But secluded domains of heaven and earth were non-living, their usage was limited. An immortal Gu was a connected body of fragments of Dao marks. A secluded domain of heaven and earth was an amalgamation of countless Dao marks. These Dao marks were piled together, some were straight or bent, some were continuous threads, some were entirely different, and some were intertwined. There was no way to make use of all the Dao marks. Even venerables were not an exception. This could be seen from the killer move Orderly Well. I have gathered quite a lot of secluded domains of heaven and earth. Dang Hun Mountain, Luo Pa Valley, Reverse Flow River, City Well, Hu Land, as well as the Incomplete Refinement Sea, Human Sea, and Qian Kun Crystal Wall. Dang Hun Mountain was the first secluded domain obtained by Fang Yuan. He even entered northern plains to find a way to repair it. Luo Pa Seal, which used Luo Pa Valley as the core, had once helped Fang Yuan kill Gu immortal experts. There was no need to talk about Reverse Flow River. In that event of old ancestor Shui who refining fortune rivaling heaven Gu, Fang Yuan had relied on Reverse Flow Protection Seal to shock the world while being hunted by Longevity Heaven and Heavenly Court. City Well was obtained from the turbulent Flow Sea area. Fang Yuan had used it as a trap to kill many Eastern Sea Gu immortals. Hu Land was the easiest to obtain. He bought it forcefully from Wu Yong. Naturally, it was possible because of Fang Yuan's strength and reputation. These things had been accumulated since his rebirth, while being on the verge of life and death, and going through countless large battles. The Incomplete Refinement Sea came from Xianxia Blessed Land. It showed long-hair ancestors' ambition. Unfortunately, although Fang Yuan obtained it, he did not have enough spare effort, time, and resources to complete it. Currently, the Incomplete Refinement Sea was being intensely consumed by 4-element square Regret Blood Refinement Pool. The Incomplete Human Sea came from Eastern Sea Xia clan. Wu Shui led the variant Human Alliance to invade Xia clan's territory, killing or driving Xia clansmen away, and looting this Incomplete Human Sea. The last was Qian Kun Crystal Wall. Put simply, it was a bunch of gray-white stone slabs. The surface of the gray-white stone slabs were filled with black ink lines. Some were straight while others were curled. There were thin and thick lines. The lines were drawn over one another, some looked like letters while others looked like drawings of scenery. Legend said that if one gathered all of the stone slabs, they could piece back Qian Kun Crystal Wall and the Gu cultivator would be able to enter Book Mountain again. If one looked at the history of humanity, they would find that generations of Gu masters, Gu immortals, or even immortal and demon venerables collected these stone slabs before. Fang Yuan had obtained countless gray-white stone slabs from Great Wisdom Immortal Mother. According to what Great Wisdom Immortal Mother said, these stone slabs could form half the Qian Kun Crystal Wall. Fang Yuan had obtained a batch of gray-white stone slabs from other sources like Xianxia sect, and the storage of the two heavens Grotto Heavens. Naturally, the number of these stone slabs could not compare to what Great Wisdom Immortal Mother had, and there were also fake goods among them. Great Wisdom Immortal Mother's gray-white stone slabs were from the Inkman race's true inheritance. There were many fake goods among the stone slabs circulated in the market. But the gray-white stone slabs in the Inkman race's true inheritance were all genuine. According to the records in U003CU003C, the Legends of Renzu 003EU003E, primordial domain was originally inside Qian Kun Crystal Wall. Unfortunately, Limitless Demon Venerable took it away and put it in Crazed Demon Cave. Even if I construct Qian Kun Crystal Wall now, I won't be able to enter primordial domain. Fang Yuan tried all ways to increase his battle strength. These secluded domains of heaven and earth were naturally going to be made use of. Reverse Flow River was being restored. Killer moves using Dang Hun Mountain and Luo Pa Valley as the core were also being developed. Hu Land was given to the Qi Si clone. Fang Yuan did not have time to put his effort into this. Among all the secluded domains of heaven and earth, Fang Yuan paid the most attention to the Incomplete Human Sea. Back then, he chose to invade Eastern Sea's Xia clan mainly because of this artificial secluded domain of heaven and earth. All the venerables have human path killer moves, so I need to have some foundation in human path. Even if I don't become dominant in this path, I need to have means to defend against it. Fang Yuan had suffered during the Fate War. The venerable methods were mostly human path methods. Every move was terrifyingly powerful or had amazing effects, influencing the whole war. Previously, Fang Yuan had ordered his subordinates to kill 100 million humans in Fire Plane Grotto Heaven to use in the incomplete human sea. But this was not enough. The previous resources were all spent, human sea was still some distance from completion. The variant human alliance also has many human grotto heavens with large numbers of humans. But it is not convenient to target these humans. Firstly, it will cause dissension in these human grotto heavens Gu immortals. Secondly, these humans will be moved to the sovereign immortal aperture in the future, and are foundations for me to develop human path. Lastly, there are so many humans in the world, why do I need to sacrifice my own people? Fang Yuan then issued a task, slaughter humans and gather resources. Compared to the previous tribulation task, this task was obviously cruel and reeked of blood. Master is a demonic path member after all. Many human Gu immortals lamented. But, I quite enjoy slaughtering the outside world's humans. This task resonated with variant human Gu immortals. Forget it, as long as it is not our grotto heaven's suffering, what does it have to do with us if other humans die? Those owners of human grotto heavens were glad about their allegiance. Soon, over 10 Gu immortals quietly moved out from the territory of Eastern Sea's Xia clan. There were many fishing villages in Eastern Sea's islands. Birds chirped and dogs barked, smoke spiraled upwards. Kill. A mini-man Gu immortal flew towards these fishing villages and ruthlessly activated immortal Gu. Leaves fell down like a rainstorm, killing countless men and women, old and young, blood splashing everywhere. Back then, us mini-men were captured by you humans. My mother was strangled to death in front of me by human Gu immortals. I am only taking back some interest. The mini-man Gu immortal's face was filled with hatred. On a certain island in Eastern Sea, there was an enormous city. 2 variant human Gu immortals united to bring forth a tens of feet high tsunami. At the juncture of life and death, an Eastern Sea lone immortal walked out and blocked the tsunami. Stop, I am Gu Mingsu. This is my homeland, I wonder what the issue is. Why are you implicating these innocent people? This Gu immortal shouted furiously. The 2 variant human Gu immortals came down from above the clouds and revealed their appearance. So it was Warm's son Immortal Lord. Immortal Lord, you are wrong. Back then, this place had been the homeland of us hairy men. But you humans occupied it forcefully. My hairy man tribe fortunately had the protection of our supreme elder, so we were able to survive in the 2 heavens. Gu Mingsu could not restrain his anger when he saw the 2 variant human Gu immortals, so you are variant humans. You are really audacious, this place is near Eastern Sea's Tang clan. I have already requested reinforcements. Get lost, if you don't escape now, it will be too late. The 2 variant human Gu immortals laughed loudly as they said, Immortal Lord, why do you pretend to not know from where we came? Our master is Lord Gu Fang Yuan. Let alone Tang clan, even if the whole of Eastern Sea's righteous path arrive together, they will be like chickens and dogs in front of our master. Gu Mingsu, stop trying to put up a front. We are here to kill your fellow humans, to let you taste the pain and suffering we felt back then. Gu Mingsu lamented inwardly, how can there be a demon like Fang Yuan? He actually sent variant humans to attack his own race. He is a traitor to humans, he has no bottom line and no sense of propriety. Damn it! Damn it! If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2137, Fang Yuan deserves death. 2137 Fang Yuan deserves death. Qi Si. Because Qi Si ancestor lived here, the Qi Si area had become the righteous Qi Alliance's headquarters. At this moment, a banquet was being held inside the Qi Si formation. Qi Si ancestor sat on the main seat while the representatives of Eastern Sea righteous path forces sat to his left and right. Sitting to the left of Qi Si ancestor was a food path Gu immortal. He was an old man with a brandy nose. He raised his wine cup high and toasted Qi Si ancestor, Lord ancestor, I offer this toast of spring sea blossom wine to you. Qi ancestor nodded, his seat was high above the others which gave him a naturally overlooking vision. Qi ancestor took a sip before commenting lightly, Zui Xian Wang, your spring wind petals wine is quite good, it has a vague poetic flavor of youth. This food path Gu immortal was Zui Xian Wang. After he inherited green antiseptic and wine fairy's true inheritance in central continent, he was then silently persuaded by Qin Ding Ling to be a chess piece. According to Qin Ding Ling's arrangements, Zui Xian Wang returned to Eastern Sea and rested for a period of time before taking the initiative to side with the righteous Qi alliance. Everyone in the righteous Qi alliance welcomed him warmly. Because Zui Xian Wang was among the outstanding lone cultivators of Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. Zui Xian Wang possessed Wine Sea, he held a wine reception every year where he invited heroes and warriors of Eastern Sea. His connections were extremely wide, and he himself had good relations with all the large Eastern Sea righteous path forces. There was a huge political significance for a representative character like him to join the righteous Qi alliance, just this significance itself had a huge value. Because, although the righteous Qi alliance was established, most of its members were of Eastern Sea righteous path super clans. Besides them, there were also some two heavens Gu immortals who had joined Qi Sea clone. Few Eastern Sea lone immortals joined the righteous Qi alliance. Demonic immortals were even rarer. Zui Xian Wang joining the alliance would definitely be a model example which would change some trend of Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. Maybe, other lone and demonic immortals would take the initiative to join. Besides these, there was another reason which was somewhat connected to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's lingering poisonous and plague killer move had caused a huge disturbance in Eastern Sea's righteous path. They were forced to take out their hidden true inheritances to research the killer move, only then were they able to find a way to restrain it. During this event, the righteous Qi alliance had wanted to invite Zui Xian Wang. However, at that time, Zui Xian Wang had already gone to Central Continent and was secretly searching for Green Ant's true inheritance. Zui Xian Wang cultivated food path, which was rare in the 5 regions and 2 heavens. While rarer things were often more precious. Zui Xian Wang was worthy of being recruited. Qi Sea ancestor discussed with Eastern Sea's super forces and held a large welcoming banquet. Not only were they trying to leave a good impression and gain the approval of Zui Xian Wang, they were also proclaiming the righteous Qi alliance's attitude towards lone and demonic immortals. When Zui Xian Wang saw Fang Yuan, he was extremely respectful and even had a flattering expression. For instance, now. Zui Xian Wang's wine was clearly called Spring Sea Blossom Wine. But Qi Sea ancestor called it Spring Wind Petals Wine. Whether Qi Sea ancestor had not heard clearly or if it was a slip of tongue, Zui Xian Wang did not ponder on it, he bowed, many thanks to ancestor for bestowing the name. Amazing, amazing, Spring Wind Petals Wine not only suits the characteristics of this wine, it is also filled with poetic sentiment, making one feel like they are being caressed by spring wind, while flower petals flutter in the air. It is a great honor for this wine to be bestowed a name by ancestor. With ancestors granting of this name, I believe this wine will be known throughout the 5 regions. Ha ha ha. Qi Sea ancestor laughed heartily as he pointed at Zui Xian Wang, old Wang, you are quite witty. The various clan representatives also chimed in, their compliments were like waves that followed Zui Xian Wang and moved towards Qi Sea ancestor. These Gu immortals were praising while cursing silently. I did not think this old guy Zui Xian Wang to have such a shameless side. Truly a bootlicker. But it is not strange. He holds a wine reception every year where he invites all the forces. He has some skills in social interaction. Tang Clan's Gu immortal Tang Tang was just about to raise his wine cup, when an information path mortal Gu flew in. He viewed it with his divine sense. What? The variant human alliance has attacked. His body jolted, he was greatly shocked. But after reading the information properly, he relaxed somewhat. Fang Yuan only sent 10 or so Gu immortals over different areas of Eastern Sea to kill mortals. What is he trying to do? Not long ago, he invaded Fire Plain Grotto Heaven and slaughtered 100 million humans. Tang Tang was pondering when he recalled the incomplete human sea. After Fang Yuan invaded Eastern Sea's Xia clan, the information about this artificial secluded domain of heaven and earth had spread far and wide. So the righteous Qi alliance was well aware of it. At this time, another information path Gu worm flew over. Gu Mingsu is requesting reinforcements from my clan. Tang Tang's heart stirred slightly. This warm sun immortal lord was a lawful lone immortal. Tang clan had always wanted to recruit him but was rejected by him. Who could have expected a crisis to appear out of nowhere? Gu Mingsu actually offended the variant human alliance. In the request letter, Gu Mingsu had clearly expressed, if Tang clan can provide help, he will join Tang clan. My Tang clan cannot offend a person like Fang Yuan. Isn't this trying to push my Tang clan into the fire? Tang Tang sneered mentally. They could not give support. Tang Tang immediately crushed this information path mortal Gu and treated it like he had not seen it. Fang Yuan's target this time were only the mortals, moreover, he avoided the people of the super clans. So, Tang clan did not suffer any losses. As for reputation, Tang clan's reputation would fall a little because they did not retaliate. But, other clans were also the same. Fang Yuan's action was not targeting just Tang clan. Since everyone was losing reputation, it was same as nobody losing any reputation. As long as the situation doesn't worsen, this is only a small matter. Let Fang Yuan kill however many he wants. Tang Tang continued to enjoy the banquet. After receiving this message, he began to deliberately observe the surrounding Gu immortals. Sure enough, these people received the news one after the other. Fang Yuan's subordinates are slaughtering mortals. They are not our clansmen anyway, why provoke Fang Yuan because of this? Eastern Sea has so many mortals, even if some are killed, the population will be restored in 10 years. Let's drink, let's drink. Ha ha ha, good wine. The atmosphere became even more lively. As the banquet continued, these Gu immortals were starting to get drunk, their faces flushed red as they enjoyed themselves. Tribulation clouds surged continually. A large amount of water splashed around in the time path clone's immortal aperture, like fish jumping madly. This was a grand tribulation, jumping time fish tribulation. The outcome is set. The time path clone was observing the whole process calmly. With the main body helping personally, there would definitely be no issue. The jumping time fish tribulation was not strong, it was an ordinary type of grand tribulation. Heaven's will did not trouble Fang Yuan, which was rare. But the time path clone was not surprised. In the recent period of time, my main body has not only helped Gu immortals to undergo tribulations, he is also helping those Gu immortal seeds to undergo immortal ascension. With him present, unless it is a dream path tribulation, there will be no issue. Heavens will realizes this fully, the calamities and tribulations are ordinary so that the main body won't gain more heaven path Dao marks. While the time path clone was thinking, the tribulation clouds in the sky were almost gone. Fang Yuan did not continue to attack, instead he took out ability Gu to give it a try. But ability Gu was almost destroyed. U003 CU003 The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003 clearly stated ability Gu would continue to grow stronger in calamities and tribulations. But Fang Yuan was unable to find a way to strengthen it. According to simple deduction, the records in U003 CU003 The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003 stated that calamities and tribulations were Gu materials to advance the rank of ability Gu. Fang Yuan gave it a try right now, but discovered that calamities and tribulations were not suitable as Gu materials and were extremely hard to control. Fortunately, Fang Yuan had made ample preparations and was able to preserve ability Gu. After obtaining this outcome, Fang Yuan did not hold back and destroyed the final lump of tribulation cloud. This time, he did not devour the heaven path Dao marks. He left behind the time path Dao marks from the tribulation in the time path clone's immortal aperture. He did not touch the clone's foundation. Now, I also have rank 8 cultivation. The time path clone was filled with emotions. From now onwards, I shall use the name Xianxia. What do you think? Up to you. Fang Yuan's main body replied plainly. Currently, among Fang Yuan's 8 clones, Qi Si ancestor, Wu Shuai, the Time Path clone He Chun Qiu, and Zhan Bu Du had advanced to rank 8. But Fang Yuan already did not lack rank 8 Gu immortals under him at present. Southern Border. Human Smoke Mountain. This was Chai Clan's headquarters. Almost all of Chai Clan's Gu immortals were assembled, and with Chai Clan's first Supreme Elder leading them, they welcomed 3 variant human Gu immortals. These 3 variant humans were Snowman, Hairy Man, and Rockman. They were Bing Yuan, Golden Fur Immortal Monarch, and Shi Zong. People of Chai Clan, the 3 of us came with Master's order. We are here to discuss a trade with you. As the leader of this trip, Bing Yuan spoke. Chai Clan's immortals were in serious and heavy moods. It was not only because of Fang Yuan's reputation, but because of these 3 variant human Gu immortals' auras. Be they Bing Yuan or Golden Fur Immortal Monarch or Shi Zong, they were all at rank 8. What does Fang Yuan want? Could my Chai Clan have something of interest to him? Chai Clan's first Supreme Elder asked. No need to be modest, Lord Chai Gan. Bing Yuan smiled. My master is willing to purchase your noble clan's human path results, including the killer move Congregated Human Talent, the Human Path Mountain Human Smoke Mountain, as well as many mortals raised by your clan. What? The expressions of Chai Clan's immortals changed. Fang Yuan is going too far. He is trying to dig up our Chai Clan's foundation. The main thing is, if we cooperate with this demon Fang Yuan, what reputation would our grand righteous path Chai Clan still have? Chai Clan immortals criticized softly. The expression of Chai Clan's first Supreme Elder was unsightly. He muttered for a while before asking, my Chai Clan does nurture the most mortals. These people live good and content lives in Human Smoke Mountain and do not cause trouble for anyone. I wonder what Fang Yuan wants to buy them for. Shi Zong sneered, of course, to kill them all. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch had a crazed expression. These humans your Chai Clan is nurturing have abundant human chi. This is extremely good. Master's human chi is only lacking the final step. With these people, it can finally be completed. Chai Clan immortals were shaken. Disregarding lives so casually, this demon deserves death. One female immortal, Chai Kuching, shouted furiously. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2138, Shaken Chai Clan. Chapter 2138 Shaken Chai Clan. Thousands of years ago, Southern Border, Human Smoke Mountain. A cave at the peak of the mountain opened quietly, and an old man walked out of it. He had an ashen expression. In the past, he could not find lifespan Gu and could only use other lifespan extension methods. His lifespan was at its end right now. Even if he found lifespan Gu or other methods, it would be of no use. I, the Grand Chai Fu, cultivated to rank 8 as a lone cultivator, but in the end, I still lost to lifespan. How sorrowful, how hateful. Chai Fu was filled with anger and sadness that was deep as the sea. He walked down the mountain numbly, but a village at the base of the mountain gave him a surprise. Before I went into closed cultivation, there had been no humans inhabiting this place. But in just several years, this place became so lively. I, the Grand Rank 8 Gu Immortal Chai Fu whose name is spread throughout the Southern Border Gu Immortal world, won't live for long, but you mortals are living so well. Looking at the men and women in the village doing labor work and children playing around, Chai Fu's anger and hatred surged so much that he was about to slaughter all these villagers. But at the next moment, he forcibly closed his eyes. His body trembled for a while before he gradually calmed down. Chai Fu restrained the evil intentions in his heart as he smiled bitterly. I, Chai Fu, might not be a good person, but I have never targeted people who have not offended me, and have never slaughtered innocents. Sigh, so be it if I die. What else can I do? Even the 10 venerables were unable to escape death. It is easy for Gu immortals to live long, but how hard is eternal life? Chai Fu had looked back over his whole life when he was in closed cultivation. He had no regrets in his life, he had a clean record and was without lingering concerns. With nothing else to do, Chai Fu disguised as a passing old Gu master and entered the village. Is he a traveling doctor? The villagers misunderstood Chai Fu's identity. Chai Fu went with the flow and used that identity, receiving warm welcomes from the villagers. There were Gu masters in the village, but the highest was only at rank 3, and they were not specialized in healing. Many villagers asked for help from Chai Fu, and with Chai Fu's ability, it was a small matter for him to treat their illnesses. Chai Fu was even more revered because of this, and at the same time, he also learned of this village's origin. So these people are actually my descendants from over 100 years ago. This discovery made Chai Fu feel some lingering fear and thankfulness. Fortunately, he did not make a move earlier and slaughter them. Shortly after, Chai Fu began to think about the meaning of life. Maybe this arrangement of fate is for me to leave behind something. Chai Fu had already thought of leaving behind his inheritance, and now his thought had solidified. It just so happens that I got an inspiration during my closed cultivation and thought of a human path killer move. Looks like fate is never aimless, it wants me to use this move here. This killer move was congregated human talent. Chai Fu had been conceptualizing a lifespan extension method, but he did not expect the final result to be this. Congregated human talent was a human path killer move that could concentrate the aptitude of many people into a small group. Chai Fu used this move as the foundation and the favorable location of human smoke mountain to establish his super force, Chai clan. Since the establishment of Chai clan, they had gathered and nurtured outsiders. They then used the killer move congregated human talent to transfer the aptitude of countless outsiders to Chai clansmen. Thus, geniuses always emerged in Chai clan. And those outsiders had mediocre aptitude, they could not cause any problems. Chai clan had this huge advantage and could rise continually, aspiring for the position of number 1 superforce of southern border. However, there were Ba clan and Xia clan near Chai clan. The three clans were near each other and had always been in dispute. Whenever one clan was more powerful, it would be jointly attacked by the other two clans. Adding on that Chai clan had previously been near the 5 regional walls and had small territory, it lacked in resources. Even though they had a large number of geniuses, they did not have sufficient cultivation resources. After the 5 regional walls disappeared, Chai clan became extremely excited. Because they could march toward central continent. However, not long after the regional walls disappeared, Qi tides engulfed the world. After the Qi tides, inheritances appeared everywhere. All the super forces in 5 regions, even lone and demonic immortals, were scrambling everywhere for these inheritances. In fact, even if this wave calmed down, Chai clan would still be in an awkward situation. Would they dare to attack Central Continent? Central Continent had the 10 great ancient sects, and in terms of strength, they were stronger than Southern Border. Even more terrifying was that Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects had the same superior, heavenly court. Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects fought each other, but if foreign enemies appeared, they would unite like one body. And now, Chai clan encountered the greatest danger over the recent years. Gu Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan sent 3 rank 8 variant humans to discuss a trade with Chai clan, but their terms were excessive. Fang Yuan directly asked for congregated human talent, human smoke mountain, as well as the countless outsider mortals that Chai clan was nurturing. This was directly excavating Chai clan's core foundation that established their status. It was no wonder everyone in Chai clan looked unsightly. Chai clan's Gu immortal Chai Kuqing even shouted in anger, Fang Yuan deserved death. Impudent! You dare to curse my master. Looks like your Chai clan is asking for extermination. Shi Zong shouted. No need to report to master, us 3 will attack and exterminate Chai clan now. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch directly took out his 2 large hammers with surging killing intent. The expressions of Chai clan immortals changed intensely, they activated defensive killer moves and rose to the air. A large chaotic battle seemed to be imminent. All of you, stop right now. Bing Yuan stopped the fight with a dark expression. Bing Yuan, this. Shi Zong and Golden Fur Immortal Monarch looked at Bing Yuan. Bing Yuan was the last to advance to rank 8 among the 3. Naturally, she had safely passed her tribulation with Fang Yuan's help. But Bing Yuan was Shui Er's grandmother, and Shui had an extremely terrifying identity that made countless Gu immortals wary. She was Fang Yuan's fiancée. Thus, Shi Zong and Golden Fur Immortal Monarch had no questions about Bing Yuan's leadership position among them, and they were obedient too. Restrain your aggression first. Bing Yuan spoke. Shi Zong snorted as he restrained his aura. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch reluctantly put away his hammers while staring at these Chai Clan Gu immortals. Chai Clan's first Supreme Elder let out a sigh of relief, and under his lead, Chai Clan Gu immortals also returned to ground as a show of sincerity. Bing Yuan's expression was solemn as she said to the Chai Clan immortals, "We did not come here to make enemies out of Chai Clan, we indeed came to do a trade. My master is a benevolent lord, his demon title is only a misunderstanding by the outside world. It is just that those people who misunderstood master did not have a good ending. But what can my master do? Are you going to show your neck and wait for death when others come to kill you? There is no such logic in this world. I believe you can understand it and won't add to master's problems." Bing Yuan's words not only contained threat, she even distorted reality with her words. Chai Gan did not want to refute, he cupped his fists and said, "I apologize for my clansman's careless remark. But if we agree to your condition, it will be akin to losing the foundation of our clan. Back then, when Fate Gu still existed, it was Heavenly Court's foundation. Does this mean Lord Fang Yuan would request to buy Fate Gu from Heavenly Court? Would Heavenly Court sell it? Trying to buy a super force's foundation out of nowhere, there is no such logic in this world, isn't that so?" Bing Yuan smiled coldly, "Chai Clan, that is your own problem. Don't try to take advantage of us variant humans, and don't try to take advantage of our master. Our master is benevolent, but besides a fair transaction, do you still want master to help you think of a way to maintain your foundation?" Golden Fur Immortal Monarch snickered, "Isn't it simple if you want to keep your foundation? Just surrender to our master." Shi Zong immediately added with sincerity, "Yes. If you become our master's subordinates, your future will be bright. If you keep on living like this, there are no prospects for you." The three rank 8 variant humans revealed proud looks. They were deeply aware of this over the recent period of time. Chai Clan was silent. They were using this tactful way to express their refusal. The three variant human Gu immortals did not persuade much, let alone elaborate on it. They would rather have fewer competitors. Bing Yuan continued to urge, "You are all aware in your hearts, if master wants to forcefully demand the resources, he will personally make a move. Why would he send us three to negotiate? Isn't this an unnecessary move? You can rest assured of master's sincerity, take a look." Bing Yuan opened her hand, revealing a rank 8 immortal Gu. The Chai Clan immortals were stunned and astonished, they transmitted their voices to each other and discussed. "Fang Yuan is really willing to pay a price? I thought that he was going to demand those things forcefully. Be careful, this Gu may be fake. Fang Yuan is crafty and sinister, we cannot be deceived by him." After the rapid conversation, Chai Gan shook his head, "It is a good Gu, we can see Lord Fang Yuan's sincerity. But I am ashamed to say that even though I am Chai Clan's first Supreme Elder, my cultivation is only at rank 7, how can I be worthy of a rank 8 immortal Gu?" Bing Yuan smiled, "Don't be in a hurry to refuse, take a look." Bing Yuan opened another hand, revealing another Gu. It was another rank 8 immortal Gu. This time, many Chai Clan Gu immortals were moved. Bing Yuan observed their expressions and said with a confident smile, "That's right, you did not see it wrongly. This immortal Gu is perfect for your Chai Clan, this Gu is what your immortal Gu house lacks. If you add it, your immortal Gu house will become a rank 8 immortal Gu house." Chai Gan's grave expression was also somewhat swayed. If Chai Clan had a rank 8 immortal Gu house, they could fight against rank 8 Gu immortals, and even participate in the peak battle between pseudo-venerable level existences. Their power and authority would rise to another level. It was a qualitative breakthrough. But at this time, Chai Kuqin yelled, "Fellow Supreme Elders, don't be deceived by the demon Fang Yuan and these variant human Gu immortals. Even if these immortal Gu are real, our Chai Clan belongs to the grand righteous path, how could we lose our identity and honor for benefits? We must never collude with these demons. If we agree to this trade, what difference is there between us and the demonic immortals that we despise? If Ancestor Chai Fu were still alive, he would definitely berate us furiously. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2139, Righteous Speech. 2139 Righteous Speech. Ha ha ha. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch laughed, "You are wrong, little girl." Shi Zong added, "It doesn't hurt to tell you. Your Southern Alliance's leader, Wu Yong, has already traded with us several times. He purchased a rank 9 Wind Path Immortal material from us, and also handed rank 7 Fan Wind Gu to us to raise it to rank 8. What? Chai Clan's Gu Immortals were shaken. Bing Yuan smiled, "Demonic path, righteous path, what's the difference? If my master converts to righteous path, who will dare to not accept him? In fact, not only Wu Clan, Western Desert's Fang Clan is also secretly working with us. Currently, Fang Clan is using all their strength to develop Green Ghost Desert and is supplying countless soul cores to master." There was another round of disturbance among the Chai Clan immortals. They had heard of Western Desert's Fang Clan and also knew of their recent movements. What impacted them even more was that Wu Clan was secretly cooperating with Fang Yuan. How can that be? Chai Kuqin called out, "At least try to make a better lie. Lord Wu Yong is our Southern Alliance's leader, how can he reach agreement with you? Everyone, you should not listen to these variant humans' nonsense, they are just making lies to deceive us." But this time, Chai Clan immortals were silent. Chai Kuqin had undergone immortal ascension just recently and had done so through relationships. Although she had talent, she had always been taken care of by Gu immortal seniors and was not aware of how the world worked. Her understanding of the Gu immortal world was even less than Xianxia. Since these variant human Gu immortals said this, Chai Clan's immortals believed that it was likely to be true. Because they only needed to investigate it and would be able to find clues. Since the variant human Gu immortals had said it, they were not afraid of being verified, they could even provide direct evidence. Chai Kuqin did not believe Wu Yong would do such things, but Chai Clan's immortals were people who were experienced and aware of worldly affairs. Not long ago, they themselves had reached an agreement with Lu Wei-yin secretly to leave a way out. Bing Yuan continued, "My master is determined to create the secluded domain of heaven and earth, human sea. I think you all know about master's nature. Even if all the people in the world oppose him, he will do it, he will not give up because someone obstructs him. You can also inquire about the recent events in Eastern Sea. We variant human Gu immortals moved all around in Eastern Sea and slaughtered humans, it was to gather resources to complete human sea. Did any Eastern Sea righteous path super force oppose us openly? He. The righteous Qi Alliance even has Qi Sea ancestor, a pseudo-venerable, but he pretended not to see it. Let alone your Southern Alliance." The will of Chai Clan's immortals were shaken, they started conversing secretly. There are indeed many tragedies happening in Eastern Sea Gu immortal world. Yes, these variant human Gu immortals might be detestable, but their words are not without logic. Eastern Sea's righteous Qi Alliance has the pseudo-venerable Qi Sea ancestor, but it still ended up like this. Not to mention our Southern Alliance which doesn't even have such an expert. The worst thing is, Wu Yong secretly collaborated with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's influence is truly terrifying. The enemy is strong while we are weak, it will be sensible to preserve our strength for the future. No matter how much they hated to admit it, Chai Clan knew they were not Fang Yuan's match, they were not even the match of these 3 rank 8 variant humans in front of them. What made them even more hopeless was that even if they retaliated, the Southern Alliance would not provide them any protection. Even if the Southern Alliance provided protection, they would not be able to protect them. Chai Clan's human Smoke Mountain had countless humans. If they really fought, these people were Chai Clan's weaknesses and Chai Clan would not be able to protect them. In history, when Ba Clan and Xia Clan caused troubles for Chai Clan, they relied on this point. As long as they made a threatening move towards human Smoke Mountain, Chai Clan had to act carefully. By now, Chai clan was already inclined towards cooperating with Fang Yuan. There was nothing that could be done about it. The enemy was strong while they were weaker by a huge degree. Only Chai Kuqing was still continuing. Everyone, listen to me. Shut up. Chai Gan could not endure it anymore. He waved his hand and sealed Chai Kuqing, making her unable to even budge. Chai Kuqing was shocked. She had never expected her first Supreme Elder to do this. This method surprised the three variant human immortals. When Chai Gan used this move, not even a slight aura leaked out from the start to finish. Without being able to sense the aura, the three variant human Gu immortals were unable to judge what path this killer move belonged to. Chai clan was a southern border super force after all. It had some foundation. Chai Gan's expression was cold as he stared at a Chai clan Gu immortal. Chai Dui Shan, control your own descendant. Yes. Chai Dui Shan immediately walked towards Chai Kuqing and placed his hand on her shoulder. Instantly, the seal on Chai Kuqing was strengthened further. Chai Kuqing's mind shook intensely. Her expression was one of incredulity. Her eyes moved towards the side and reddened as she looked at the ancestor that had once been so tall and grand in her heart. Seeing this, the three variant human Gu immortals had a similar thought. The outcome was set. A day later. While Chai clan's headquarters were empty, human Smoke Mountain was attacked by the biggest beast calamity of the past 100 years. An earth path immemorial desolate beast dug out from the ground. At that time, Chai clan's immortals had gone out to fight for blessed lands, inheritances, and so on, and only a few rank 6 Gu immortals were left to guard the headquarters. In order to protect the common people, the Gu immortals left behind, with Chai Kuqing as the head, used killer moves without caring for losses to Chai clan. This move inflicted damage on both enemies and oneself. Although the immemorial desolate beast was killed, human Smoke Mountain was heavily damaged and was almost turned into a crater. Fortunately, they were able to protect some clansmen. Although there is a difference between immortals and mortals, Chai clan holds no such differentiation. Human life is most important. Mortal lives are as precious as Gu immortal lives. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, it is worth it if we can save more lives. This is my Chai clan's principle. It is our integrity as part of the righteous path. Chai clan's first Supreme Elder Chai Gan proclaimed his words that were full of righteousness to southern borders Gu immortal world after the event. The three variant human immortals set off on a journey back in secret. Human Smoke Mountain was naturally attacked by them. According to the agreement between the three variant human immortals and Chai clan sold human Smoke Mountain as well as most of the mortals on human Smoke Mountain, only keeping their own clansmen. They also kept some random outsiders to put up a show. Chai clan Gu immortals did not make a move. The three variant human immortals dug up human Smoke Mountain and slaughtered countless mortals. Lastly, the three immortals took away Chai clan's human path results, while leaving a fire path true inheritance and 3 rank 8 immortal Gu to Chai clan. Hahaha, Master's bottom line was 5 rank 8 immortal Gu for this mission. I did not think we would complete this mission with just 3. Shi Zong laughed. Even if Chai clan is a super clan and has been in southern border for a long time, they are truly inept. Just 3 rank 8 immortal Gu were enough to blow them away. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch also showed his disdain. At present, there were over 20 rank 8 immortal Gu listed on the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's exchange list. These rank 8 immortal Gu were of various paths and could be exchanged for using contribution points. Fang Yuan had been helping many Gu immortals undergo tribulation, which spiked the number of rank 8 Gu immortals in the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Because of this, Fang Yuan put some rank 8 immortal Gu on the exchange list. This move stimulated all the rank 8 Gu immortals. They were excited to the point of madness. Even though many Gu immortals knew clearly, Fang Yuan was dangling a carrot in front of them so that they would work for him like a mule. But this carrot was too large and too glossy. It really made them salivate. How hard was it to obtain a rank 8 immortal Gu? How hard was it to refine it? The Gu immortals simply could not resist this temptation. Congratulations, Bing Yuan, for saving 2 rank 8 immortal Gu for Master. When we return, you will definitely be rewarded with lots of bonus contribution points. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch flattered. Fang Yuan's task rewards were not fixed, they could change according to the change in situation. Bing Yuan laughed reservedly. Actually, I don't care much about contribution points. I saved the 2 rank 8 Immortal Gu not for contribution points, but to help my family. You know that my shui heir is Lord Fang Yuan's fiancé after all. This again. Bing Yuan is showing off her relationship with Master again. Shi Zong and Golden Fur Immortal Monarch looked at each other secretly, seeing the complex emotions in each other's eyes. They had heard of Bing Yuan mentioning this relationship so many times that they started feeling nauseous. But even so, every time they heard it, Shi Zong and Golden Fur Immortal Monarch could not help but feel envious. Not willing for Bing Yuan to stay on this topic, Shi Zong said, "Our side is clearly so strong, why do you think Master still use such a huge price to trade with Chai clan?" Golden Fur Immortal Monarch immediately replied, "In my opinion, Master traded with Wu clan, Chai clan, and Fang clan, probably because he wants to convert to righteous path." Shi Zong heaved a sigh. "If I had status and strength like Master's, I would run wild, who can stop me? A mere Chai clan will be turned to ashes with just a flick of my finger. Will I still talk business with these people?" Bing Yuan snorted coldly, "Which is why you will never become an existence like Master. Master's considerations are always far-sighted, how can we reckon what he is thinking? If we make guesses, it is no different than ants trying to estimate the sun and moon." Yes. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch quickly added, "Actually, even if we turn to righteous path, our lives will be pretty good. Just look at those Chai clan Gu immortals holding back their anger, it was really refreshing. I, a hairy man, finally get to experience the taste of equality." The 3 immortals looked at each other and saw smiles on the others' faces. Bing Yuan said, "Whether Master walks the righteous path or demonic path, we only need to know one thing. That is, we follow Master's decision. If Master wants to negotiate and do business, then we will do business. If Master wants to kill someone, we will go kill that unlucky fellow." Naturally. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch patted his chest strongly. Shi Zong also nodded, saying with emotions, "In the history of humanity, besides Ren Zhu, I only respect Master." Over this recent period of time, Fang Yuan's subordinates had a huge transformation. The transformation on the surface was the rapid increase in their cultivation level and strength. And the internal mental transformation was that their loyalty towards Fang Yuan was increasing rapidly. The authority of the Supreme Demon, harsh agreements, and terrifying battle achievements made these Gu immortals feel dread and not dare to rebel. On this basis, Fang Yuan only needed to give some benefits and these Gu immortals would feel deeply grateful to him. And currently, Fang Yuan's treatment towards them was something the other forces simply could not match. Such huge benefits made these Gu immortals gather tightly around Fang Yuan. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2140, Establishing Dao Veins. Chapter 2140, Establishing Dao Veins. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. A huge butterfly was fluttering in the air. This butterfly was pure white and let out graceful cloud light. Its speed was sometimes fast, sometimes slow. When it was fast, it was almost like teleportation, and when it was slow, it moved leisurely like fluttering leaves. This was a totem killer move, Cloud Light Butterfly. The totem killer moves Zhan Budu brought from Myriad Beast Fusion Color Heaven had extremely high value. Based on their grades, these totem killer moves were divided into basic totems, unique totems, and super totems. There were thousands of basic totems, including Dark Capital Strength Tiger, Golden Bell Totem, Rain Eagle Totem and so on. After the cultivators of Myriad Beast Fusion Color Heaven refined a basic totem, they continued to develop the totem, making it a totem unique to them. These totems were different for different Gu immortals. For instance, Zhan Budu combined Rain Eagle and Thunder Fish into Kunpeng Totem, which was his unique totem. It could not be copied by others because this totem was closely related to the distribution and scale of Zhan Budu's Dao marks. Above unique totems were super totems. There were extremely few of these totems and they were rare to the point of being only rumors and legends. Zhan Budu only heard of them and had not seen any. Many Gu cultivators of myriad beast fusion color heaven also were doubtful regarding this grade of totem. But in Fang Yuan's opinion, they should exist. According to legends, super totems can leave the Gu cultivator and exist by themselves. They possess the ability to cultivate and can act by themselves. Isn't this speaking of Qing Chou? Qing Chou was originally a killer move, but through Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerables arrangements, it turned into an immemorial desolate beast. Even the grand spectral soul went down because of Qing Chou. All the myriad paths reached the same point in the end. When totem killer moves were cultivated to the limit, they would be like Qing Chou, transforming from a dead killer move to a certain living form. From another angle, Gu refinement was also the same. Gu cultivators refined many dead Gu materials into a living Gu worm. And Gu worms and killer moves were the same in essence. Life, Gu worms, killer moves, and others, they were just a manifestation of Dao. Unfortunately, I still cannot improve totem killer moves into compound killer moves at the moment. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly. When totem killer moves were used to deal with the enemies, they had to leave the sovereign immortal body and would no longer be under the protection of unrestrained heavenly marks. Maybe in the future, when my heaven path attainment increases, I can use heaven path Dao marks with totem killer moves to create compound totem killer moves. Fang Yuan already made some estimations. His heaven path attainment level needed to increase. In fact, his heaven path attainment had been rising all along. He was continuously refining heaven path Dao marks into unrestrained heavenly marks, and was using heaven path Gu like heaven's envy immortal Gu. These experiences gave him insights towards heaven path. But his heaven path was still far from reaching master level. Master level heaven path attainment was the starting point for qualitative change. Fang Yuan continued to cultivate totem killer moves. So far, he was accumulating totem killer moves. Fang Yuan carefully selected these totem killer moves from the basic totems, and after perfecting them, they were at rank 8 killer move level. A message appeared that disturbed Fang Yuan's cultivation. Fang Yuan stopped his cultivation and inspected this message. This message came from Lu Wei Yin. The letter focused on the method of artificially creating earth veins. My thought of modifying the sovereign immortal aperture is possible after all. Fang Yuan thought with some joy. Over this period of time, Fang Yuan had published the exchange list and invested greatly to nurture his subordinate Gu immortals. Because of this, Fang Yuan's subordinates had a huge increase in their strength. They became extremely active and took the initiative to do missions everywhere. The sovereign immortal aperture situation had already stabilized. Fang Yuan estimated he could annex 3 more grotto heavens before the ecosystem started breaking down again. But Fang Yuan was not satisfied with this. It was best if he could devour all the grotto heavens and increase his strength to the limit before the battle in Crazed Demon Cave. When he goes to Crazed Demon Cave in the future and faces off against Venerables, he would have a much easier time. However, even if Fang Yuan placed all the variant human alliance Gu immortals inside the sovereign immortal aperture, including Qi Si ancestor to overlook the whole situation, he could not annex all the 2 heavens grotto heavens. Even if he could do so, Fang Yuan would not do it. If he did it, the sovereign immortal aperture's ecosystem would turn completely chaotic, and with just a little carelessness, it would break apart. Currently, Fang Yuan was in a secure environment and there was already this threat. When he fights with Venerables and they discover this weakness, they may have some special methods to exploit this weakness. In fact, Fang Yuan's silver luck pillar was loose and not condensed. It was hinting to Fang Yuan that this obvious weakness was very likely to be used by Venerables. Just relying on manpower did not work. Fang Yuan racked his brains and finally thought of another method. That was to construct veins. Heaven had heaven veins, earth had earth veins, and humans had human veins. The so-called vein was extraordinary and special. Not only was it an agglomeration of Dao marks, but it also contained the characteristics of movement. Heaven veins might be formless, but they contained abundant heaven path Dao marks. At the same time, these heaven path Dao marks were not constantly unchanging, they circulated and transformed continuously. So when Qi tides swept the world, there were Qi harvest fruits every time they dissipated. And in the two heavens, because almost all the grotto heavens were placed on a heaven vein node, the Qi harvest fruits emergence became even more obvious, turning into a calamity. Earth veins were similar. After the pursuit battle against Fang Yuan, earth veins appeared and spread throughout the 5 regions. Fang Yuan, Lu Wei-yin, and others used the characteristic of the earth vein movement to escape smoothly. Why were there abnormal situations occurring in Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture? What was the truth and source of it? Where was the crux of the issue? When Fang Yuan researched it, the answer he got was very thought-provoking. The answer was, the non-conflicting Dao marks of the sovereign immortal aperture. By right, there should be conflict between different Dao marks. But there was none of it in the sovereign immortal aperture. Dao marks of all paths were harmonious. Excessive harmony was not a good thing. There was no absolute good or bad in the world. Just like when Ni clan encountered the meteor calamity. This meteor calamity was extremely destructive and Fang Yuan had to personally make a move to resolve it. The source of this meteor calamity was just a spurt of fire rain in mini red heaven. After Fang Yuan annexed Fire Plane Grotto Heaven, his fire path Dao marks had a massive surge which caused frequent fire rain in mini red heaven. And among all the fire rain, one spell continued to grow and happened to shoot through a charcoal lake. The fire rain's Dao marks and charcoal lake's Dao marks merged together, forming rank 6 level killer move meteor rain. As the meteor rain entered mini orange heaven, it combined with the Dao marks on its way and its strength increased to rank 7 level. As it entered mini yellow heaven, it combined with metal path Dao marks and its might increased to rank 8. When it was above the Ni clan army, the scale of these meteors was already dense enough to fill the sky, reaching tens of thousands. The smallest were only the size of a small field, while some were as large as a mountain. If there was the presence of conflicting Dao marks, this calamity would have not occurred. It was very likely that when the fire rain shot through the charcoal lake, it would be restrained by the earth path Dao marks in the charcoal lake, its might would fall sharply and it would end there. But because of the harmony between Dao marks in the sovereign immortal aperture, after the fire rain went through the charcoal lake, it became meteor fire rain. After Fang Yuan realized this crucial point, he understood how to end the issues in the sovereign immortal aperture. It was simple, that was to make the Dao marks in the sovereign immortal aperture conflict. Once there were conflicting Dao marks, the sovereign immortal aperture's biggest issue would be solved easily, it would be stable like the outside world's 5 regions. Lu Wei-yin's letter also confirmed Fang Yuan's idea. He mentioned, when Shadow Sect refined sovereign immortal fetus Gu, Mushroom Man Paradise had also secretly helped. Spectral Soul might or might not have realized this issue. But that was not important. Spectral Soul and Paradise Earth might oppose each other, but they reached a tacit agreement through Red Lotus Demon Venerable because of Fate Gu. Lu Wei-yin analyzed, the fundamental reason for sovereign immortal fetus Gu being rank 9 was non-conflicting Dao marks. But if it were to be taken a step further and raised to rank 10, the Dao marks had to conflict. This conflict was not taking a step back, but instead, to make the sovereign immortal body's Dao marks follow the master's intention, it could either be non-conflicting or conflicting Dao marks at will. Making the Dao marks conflict could resolve the sovereign immortal body's greatest flaw, strong attack, weak defense. However, Fang Yuan clearly did not have enough capability to accomplish this. Even Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was unable to do this. After all, that would not be rank 9 sovereign immortal fetus Gu, but rank 10. Rank 9 immortal Gu were already rare and mighty, rank 10 was only a rumor of legends. Fang Yuan had lived for hundreds of years but had only heard rumors of 2 rank 10 immortal Gu. One was Destiny Gu, one of the main materials for refining rank 10 Destiny Gu was rank 9 Fate Gu. Another was Eternal Gu. This legend originated from the legends of Ren Zhu. Currently, from Lu Weiyin's letter, Fang Yuan learned of the possible third-rank 10 immortal Gu, sovereign immortal fetus Gu. Fang Yuan could not accomplish conflicting Dao marks, then what should he do? Easy. Since he could not create conflicting Dao marks, Fang Yuan went to the extreme, to make Dao marks even more harmonious and condense them. But this cohesion and harmony was selective, and would be under Fang Yuan's control. What was the solution? Fang Yuan did not need to think much before the method of vein construction emerged in his mind. There were many kinds of Dao veins. Heaven vein, earth vein, human vein, fire vein, water vein, and so on. In Eastern Sea, undercurrents interwove under the sea, forming a natural route for transportation of goods. Many of Eastern Sea's caravans made use of Gu worms to go deep under the sea and use the undercurrents to move rapidly. In a short time, they could travel for 10,000 li, or even 100,000 li, to engage in trade. This was actually one of the forms of water veins. Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance naturally contained the way to construct artificial earth vein. But Fang Yuan still wanted to consult Lu Weiyin regarding the specific way to put it into practice. Regarding him and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, Fang Yuan was always on guard. For instance, Fang Yuan had never let Lu Weiyin enter the sovereign immortal aperture. Or for example, Fang Yuan preserved Paradise Earth's dream realms and Mushroom Man Paradise. He did not make a move on them without deep consideration. Adding in Lu Weiyin's suggestion, I can modify my previous idea and get an overall mature way to implement it. I can let those Gu immortals finish the early steps. Or maybe, I should let Meng Qiuzhen explore Paradise Earth's dream realms first and raise my Earth Path attainment, which would make it much more convenient for constructing the Earth vein. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.